So hello to all the students as well. Today, the companies which will be speaking to us about uh, all the different careers which they offer are Anchovy, BOV, Fenlex, Atlas, and PwC. We'll be starting off with Anchovy. So whenever you're ready, Anchovy can start to present.
Hi everyone. Benji here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to maybe just go through the different job careers that we have on offer at Anchovy and the group of companies we have. So Anchovy is a digital marketing agency. And we also have another company which is called Honest Data, which is a data company. So primarily the jobs and skill sets that we're looking for start off from creative designers, so creative people, to user experience designers, web developers, researchers, so people who can conduct research and have a good understanding of data, social media managers, PPC and SCM experts, web developers, and people in sales and business development. In general, Anchovy, we have a mix of, we employ people who are juniors, so they start off as interns and we train them up the ranks to become employees, or we employ more senior people. So we have a dual setup inside the company. So we employ senior people who, let's say, have 3 years, a minimum of 2 to 3 years experience, especially agency experience. Or we get interns on board with a very strong internship program where we train them, then they become juniors, and from juniors, they work their way up the ranks. But in a nutshell, what we're looking for are people who are self-motivated, who can learn fast. Our industry is very much a hands-on kind of learning experience industry. So school teaches you the basics and teaches you the basic understandings of what we do, but fundamentally you need to get your hands dirty and work with clients and really trial and error on everything you do. And it's only by that process that you get good and fast and provide a better service to the client. So I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to know or anything else that I left out.
I don't know if anyone else has any questions, as in anyone can ask if you're fine with that.
Hello. Maybe which majors would be because the faculty offers a number of majors for female students. Which maybe majors would be most fitting for someone to pursue a career with the company maybe?
I mean, mainly, I guess marketing from the modules that there are would be the marketing one. So marketing has it's a very vast topic. So I think having a good understanding and a good foundation on marketing would definitely help. And I would strongly suggest that in the summer months or even in the winter months that you do an internship and get hands-on experience, because it's the hands-on experience that's going to really get you into the door into most companies. So coming out straight out of university is one thing, or straight out of a degree, but actually having hands-on experience is different.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So do you offer internships even during the university years, not just after?
Yes. So
graduation?
generally on the last year, we offer the internship so that when they finish the internship, they're also finishing off the degree, and then hopefully if they're selected, they continue as an employee.
Okay. If any of the students would like to maybe message me or message him directly with regards to any questions you might have, feel free. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Feel free to reach out if you need anything.
Exactly.
Thanks.
We can now move on to the next speakers, which are BOV. They might not be in the call, so I don't know if Fenlex would like to take their place and start now, since you're all here.
Hi. Yes, if you'd like, no problem.
It's okay with you, it would be fine.
Yes, yes, of course, no problem at all.
Thank you.
No problem. Let me just get you on the screen so I can look at you. Okay. Hi everyone. So basically, my name is Claire Luna. I'm one of the directors and managers within the Fenlex team. I've been with Fenlex now for approximately 17 years, and I think I have with me two of my colleagues I'll introduce shortly. I think the main focus that we'd like to share with you is for you to get a good understanding of what a corporate service provider is. We're not the auditors that you hear so commonly or the accounting firm. We're actually a corporate service provider, so we'll give you some feedback on what that really is. We'll also tie into how Fenlex therefore operates as a corporate service provider and the qualifications that you would need to start or to work your way up through the team. With me, I have my colleagues, Nadine Farrugia. She's assistant head in the accounts department, and she'll delve into more what the accounts department entails a little bit in detail. And also William Kassar, who heads our tax compliance team. Okay, and again, he will get into that role as well. So basically, just also as like a pillar, the three of us started BCom, and the three of us majored in accounts. I majored in accounts and management. I can't recall, Nadine and William will tell you their own. But what's interesting is that we started with BCom, we ended at different parts, and we found ourselves in this company, all at different roles basically, and even the way that we got to those roles was different. So it's good for you to hear also how even you can change your mind during your course on what to do, etc. So what is a corporate service provider? A corporate service provider is basically, as the name implies, it's corporate services to corporate entities, being foundations, companies, trusts. And when we talk about corporate services, it is, anything that keeps the company in good standing. And I'll go into a bit of what's standard and what isn't, So Fenlex that is what it is. It stems from a law firm, which is Fenwick & Fenwick Advocates. The law firm has been around for 135 years. We're actually celebrating 135 years this year. So it's been around for a good number of years. And we've been, Fenwick & Fenwick had decided, to create Fenlex in the early 1980s. Okay, we're very much one company, so our clients are, serviced under one roof, and we regard ourselves as one company. And we are approximately in Fenlex only around 70 people, which is one of the largest corporate service providers on the island. And our average age gap, our average age is in the region of, I think, 28 to 30. So we're rather young at heart, okay? Our executive team are then more older, more experienced, etc. So I think I can go on to, what a corporate service is and what also we do. So I can explain to you. Basically, when foreigners, most of our clients are foreign, we have local, but the majority of them are foreign. They want to set up a company in Malta or any form of vehicle in Malta. We get there. So sometimes they go to the law firm and get the advice that is necessary, whether it's employment, whether it's tax, whether it's, corporate structuring, etc. And then, when the client decides to come over, we get into the picture and we literally incorporate the company. So we set it up in Malta, but that's the very basic of what we do. Because then a company needs to be kept in good standing. In Malta, there's a lot of statutory requirements that need to be made. And so we have different departments to ensure that each of these statutory requirements are met by each and every of our client companies. So we have the corporate department, which takes care of administering the company. So, any share transfers, any changes, etc. Is handled by that department, and they keep the company in good corporate governance and in good standing. And then we have a compliance department. Now, a compliance department is not obviously solely something that you find within a corporate service provider, but a compliance department, as most of you know, they are implementing procedures in terms of AML, etc. And we have a department solely dedicated to, onboarding of clients and also assisting clients creating their own compliance department within their firm. Then, as we also have a banking department, so we open bank accounts, everything is very much in assisting the client operate itself in Malta. We also have an accounts department, Nadine will get into that, and we have a tax department, which also incorporates payroll. I think I've covered most of the departments. So that is the standard. And then we also provide directorship. Now, we act as directors. I act as a director on a number of companies, obviously limited, so that I can have an element of control of what they do. And we get very much into what the company does. So it's not just backbencher, you literally get into what the company does. So I need to understand accounts. So that's where my accounting comes in. I need to understand ratios. I need to understand strategy, management. So all the things that I've learned in BCom come out all, within the scope of the board of directors of these companies. And the companies vary from being, oil and gas, from being marketing, from maritime, owning of yachts, whatever it is. Obviously, you act as a director to the remit that you feel comfortable. So to the remit that you understand the objects of that company. So, this is what a corporate service company is. We are a regulated entity. So, we have to follow a number of rules, which is a good thing nowadays. But I think from my end, as an introduction, I think that covers what I wanted to say. And maybe Nadine and William can take over to discuss a bit, their departments, and then they can also move on to, the type of majors that you may require and what Fenlex, how we can help you grow, because I think that is very, very important. Because we all started from actually the bottom and worked our way up. So Fidejkom, Nad and Will. I'm not sure I'm not hearing them. I don't know whether you guys are.
We can't really hear you.
Your mics are on, but the sound doesn't seem good enough, Nad.
I don't know if you have connected to audio when joining the call, because it might not allow you to speak and use your microphone.
Okay, I can see our IT guy came to the rescue, so I'm hoping that. So what I can do in the meantime, I can, so we have a lot of departments. Obviously, if you want to become an accountant, and Nadine will get into it because I'm personally not an accountant, but she is, and so is William. William is a tax accountant, so he'll also get into the distinction that Nad.
I think we're hearing you.
Sorry about that.
All right, it's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Had a bit of a glitch.
No problem. Fidejkom.
Okay. So thank you, Claire, for the introduction. I am Nadine Farrugia. I am a warranted accountant and auditor by profession, and I've been working in the finance sector for over 10 years now. As Claire mentioned, I currently assist with heading the accounts department at Fenlex, which is composed of more or less 12 accountants. If I had to describe the role of an accountant at Fenlex, I would say it would vary depending on the client. However, in summary, what we normally do would be assisting with keeping the accounting records adequate for the client, adequate accounting records for the client. What we also do is we ensure that we collect the accounts and prepare the management accounts of our companies. If there is anything that the client would request ad hoc, be it, I don't know, reconciliations or any specific report, that is something that our accounting team would assist with. And what's interesting about our role, the role of an accountant, because there could be this perception that an accountant would just sit on their desk and just do the bookkeeping. But in reality, at Fenlex, we engage with our clients from the beginning. So we are constantly in communication with the clients, be it over board meetings, and it's crucial to understand the operations of the company, because at the end of the day, we are the ones that then would need to reflect this in the numbers. So I wanted to clarify that misconception about our role as accountants. Also, we have our accounting team. We ensure and we emphasize that the team would also have a good sound knowledge of tax. Why? Because when we're preparing management accounts, it's important that we, at that stage in time, we are communicating with the client the tax exposure. So it's very important that the accountant would have a good sound knowledge of tax as well, even though it is a specialized area. And it's also something interesting for the accountants to be not specific experts in just one area and have a good sound knowledge overall. We also assist with preparing financial statements, which is important and crucial for our clients, because at the end of the day, we need to ensure that they are compliant with their statutory obligations. We also have clients where we assist them with consolidations. There are certain clients which prepare the accounting and we assist them with reviews, or possibly assist them with some technical areas from an accounting aspect. So that is, in a nutshell, several work that an accountant would be exposed to at Fenlex. To share a bit more of a personal side to it, as Claire mentioned, I had majored in accounts and management, and then I furthered my qualifications to ACCA. I spent a big chunk of my time in auditing, but then at Fenlex, I had the opportunity to move to a more managerial role and focus on more client accounting. So I think the key message for the students that are on this webinar is that, yes, if you want to be an accountant, it is important that you major in accounts, because that is important that you have that. Any other subject will be an add-on, so there's no specification of what you should choose. However, I think the key message is to choose subjects which you have a passion for and which you like. And the majors that you choose, they don't define your career path or your role in the long term. And in the beginning, as Claire mentioned, it's true. You have to, do the king and dashing, but then there are many opportunities out there, and especially at Fenlex, being that we have the multidisciplinary departments. Should you major in something, there are opportunities to move from one department to another. So be it accounting, be it tax, if you have more of a passion in working with clients and be client facing, that is where the corporate team comes in. So there are many opportunities for you. And I think I'll end with that, and I'll pass on to William.
Okay. Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is William Kassar, and I head the tax compliance at Fenlex. At university, I majored in accounts and management, and the reason being that I always wanted to become an accountant. At that stage, I didn't know that I wanted to become a tax accountant, but as soon as I studied tax at university, I realized that this is my area. Okay, and some of you may already have an interest in a particular subject, which is good, and others possibly no, and that is fine. But hopefully, as time pass by, you realize which topics you like most, and essentially where do you see yourself in 5-10 years time, and hopefully more, because you need to work until retirement. So it's something that you have to choose, which is something that you love. Okay, because this is something that we're going to have for a number of years ahead of you. So, as I said, I majored in accounts and management at work at Fendex. So my work involves a number of areas. So I'm involved in the compliance side of things. So, for instance, we prepare the calculation of tax computations for the companies. We're also involved in trusts and foundations as Fendex. And we're also involved in personal tax returns and personal tax computations. So we calculate the tax for individuals. We also have the payroll department. So we have a payroll function with specialized people on that area. We also prepare the VAT returns for clients, both sole traders and companies. But there is also this an interesting part of that, which is coming from the legal department, which is incorporating companies and structuring them, and also involved in due diligence exercises. So these are all form part under the umbrella of taxation. So it's, as you can see, it's not limited. It's quite vast in what you would like to specialize. And the way we're heading, I think the more time passes, is that we need more specialized people in this field because everything is getting complicated, and you need to be updated in all the laws and stuff that's coming up. So this is partly the interesting side of choosing tax as your career, because it's never the same. So it's always something new coming out, and you have to be updated and make sure that you read the laws and the guidelines and so on. But that is it. So if you're interested in this area of taxation, obviously, you need to choose accounts as your major. But I'm going to speak now about the management, because I didn't speak about management before. Management is also important, especially when you grow in a particular organization. And wherever you go in an organization, the further you go up, you need to have managerial skills. And this is something that you're not necessarily born with. You need to train yourself and read and share your experience with others, especially those who have been in a managerial position for a number of years. So, and that is, I think, what makes you a complete person. So you have the accounting, which is the technical part, and also the managerial part, because you need both actually at work. Okay. From my end, that is it. Just one last thing I wanted to mention is that because I had the same experience when I was a student and also when I graduated. The fact that you choose tax and you don't work necessarily in double entry and accounting doesn't mean that you're not a complete accountant. It's the same as a lawyer who works as a tax lawyer or a gaming lawyer, or a doctor who is a GP versus a surgeon. I mean, you need to be specialized. The important thing is that you specialize in an area and you know it well, and rather than trying to think that I'm not a complete person because I don't do the double entry accounting and so on. So choose your area, be sure that you're choosing the right path, and then go for it. That's it.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you all, the three of you. We really enjoyed listening to you. I don't know if anyone has any questions to ask. It's good to know that there are so many opportunities for BCom students, as in not just sort of, we have this perception that a firm only allows sort of accounting students, but in reality, there are so many different areas which we students can enter in, sort of.
It's true. There's a question from Bernard, right?
Good afternoon. My question is, with increasing regulation from the MFSA for CSP and recent developments, such as the possible implementation of a global minimum corporate tax, which might kind of affect the tax advantage for jurisdictions like Malta. How do you see the sector evolving over the next couple of years, please? Thank you.
Very interesting question. It depends because there are Malta as an EU member state, right? So there are certain laws which come from the EU, and then there are certain laws which come from the EU, but there are pressures from, let's say, OECD or G20 countries. I think you're referring to the digital tax of the 15%, which was recently discussed at that level. We have to wait and see, I think. I don't know if I don't think so that that we have large companies in Malta such as Facebook, Amazon, Google, Netflix, WhatsApp, and this type of companies. But obviously, it is a proposal that one need to look at and the impact that it might have in Malta. But again, you mentioned just one topic. There are other legislations which are coming in every year, which not necessarily be of a negative to Malta in the sense that they might impact negatively the way that we work. It's just more compliance especially on the tax practitioner. And obviously, that information needs to pass on to the client for compliance purposes. So there is also
I think, we're also, a jurisdiction where we're clients, and we're seeing them more so over, I think, the past 6 years, where we find clients, who come over of a certain standard. So they don't only come for tax. So that's really something that we really need to focus on, that Malta is not just the because you said you linked, the fact of our future with what's going to happen with the tax, which is not what we are, a lot of clients come to us, which is beyond the tax reason, and that is what we strive always, and we have been doing so for the past 35 years, to make us a jurisdiction of a certain repute and standing. Obviously now with the grey listing, etc., it is something that we have to, prove ourselves and bring to fore everything that we've done over the past 35 years, things that have been there, possibly not implemented. So I mean, yes, it's always, a stab in the back, and always us trying to find ways on how to attract the business. Obviously, Malta is very limited in terms of resources, etc. And it's always found, I think it's always found its footing, really, So, but again, the emphasis on the fact that people come to Malta solely because of the tax, I think it's a misconception at many a times. Because we see clients coming here, getting employees over here. It's not all because of the tax, So I don't know whether Nad, will you want to add anything else?
Yes, I agree. Definitely agreed. I mean, there are proposals coming in, especially in the last 3-5 years. I think it's been quite difficult here in terms of keeping up with all these legislations. So Malta, what needs to do is that we protect what we have, and obviously continue to enhance our product, not beyond tax, as Claire mentioned, because obviously competitors, even EU jurisdictions, would like to have more piece of the pie. And so what we need to do is to improve our product abroad, and keep emphasizing that Malta is not effective only for tax reasons, but there are also other reasons.
Thank you.
Welcome.
If anyone thinks of any other questions later on, feel free to message us or email us, and we will for sure pass them on to Fendex.
Yes.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our next speaker is Mr. Noel De Bono, who is from BOV. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Michaela. Good afternoon to all. And it's a pleasure to meet students although virtually, but now we're getting used to it because we're used to meet students on face-to-face rather than virtually. So I come from Bank of Valletta. I work in the HR department for a good number of years. And basically, I will give you some information about Bank of Valletta, so everyone knows what we do. Basically, we're all over Malta and Gozo. We're the biggest bank in Malta, financial services provider, and the largest institution when it comes to financial services, both in terms of market share and profit, but also in terms of employment. Okay, so just to give you an indication, we employ, including students, we employ around 2,000 employees in total. Okay, we're just above the 2,000 mark. And we are by far, I think we're almost double from our from our major competitors when it comes to employment. There's also a reason for that, which is of interest also to you as students, because throughout the years, financial services, we've seen less competition. Now, what happens when you have less competition? There is more reliance on a few banks. Okay, we see a lot of competition when it comes, for example, to cards, like, I don't know, Revolut, for example, when it comes to specific areas, like, for example, deposit takers. But as a 360 financial service provider, there aren't much in Malta. So we obviously had to step up. And as a result of that, we are considered to be a systematic bank in Malta, which means that we are so big for the size of our country that we have a direct impact on the economy. So we've got forbid, we had to one fine day close our branches. That would spell disaster for the whole of the Maltese economy. So not to reach to that stage, the European Central Bank, together with the local authorities, impose a number of conditions on the bank. And one of it is the importance of having a robust risk and compliance area. It's not that other banks don't have it. The difference is that we employ a good number of employees there, and we need to beef it up because we cannot get this wrong, basically. So as a result of that, we employ a good number of employees in that area and also in other areas. So it's not just banking per se, the traditional banking that we see, that most probably you're accustomed to when you visit our branches. Nowadays, fewer people are visiting branches, and they prefer to go for online transactions, which is something good, and we promote it as well. But there is a lot which one can consider, which is not visible, but it's still key to the bank and to give you a very good career within the financial services industry. Now, how do we operate? Now, we operate we recruit on a constant basis, but as a student, it is primarily of interest for you to know that we also employ students on our graduate program. So we have a graduate program, which is basically, it is a 0-hour contract, which means that you would not have a minimum number of hours that you need to work per week. There are the maximum which are laid down by law. So basically, if you're earning a stipend, you cannot go over the 20 hours per week, and in summer you cannot go over 39 hours per week, because then it will be full-time employment. But other than that, there are no basic restrictions, no limitations, or whatever, even if someone decides to terminate the contract, whichever party. And we have a very good number of students joining on this program. Actually, we get students from two main cohorts. One is the University of Malta, and the other is from MCAST. Normally, the students who come from MCAST, they are mainly positioned within our branch network, within our retail network. The students who come from university are predominantly placed within support functions. Like, for example, as I mentioned, risk and compliance would be a support function. And we pay an hourly rate, basically. That is how the graduate program works. And we've seen it quite successful over the years. The majority of our students end up being employed on a full-time basis. The only condition for employment is obviously that you would be interested to continue this journey with the bank, and also the unit management would have sent us a positive feedback during your stay within that unit, basically. So if we get positive feedback, then we switch the employment to full-time. In fact, as we speak at the moment, and this week I've met the students who will be terminating the course this year. They finished the course now. They're waiting for the results. And they're seeking full-time employment, as we already collected the information from the unit management. And as from next week, we'll be contacting individually the students to discuss their future, basically. We have obviously university students, predominantly once they finish the course, they prefer switching to full-time. When it comes to MCAS, since very often they do a level 4 or a level 5, most of them, they prefer to further their studies to get a degree, which is fine for us. So in that case, we just renew their contract as a graduate program, basically. That's all. And in total, at the moment, we have 70, more or less, give and take, 70 students in total between MCAS and university. And we're hoping to increase that to over 100. So technically, we're aiming to have at least 100 students per year working with the bank, basically. So there is space and there is room for a lot of you, especially those who are studying BCom. So that is how the system works. Now, when it comes to employment, what we do normally, just we request a CV. So you would send the CV to the bank. You can either send it, there are a number of email addresses, either vacancies@bov.com or recruitment@bov.com. It's very important that in the subject title you write graduate program, because I take care of the graduate program, whereas my colleague take care of the full-time employment. Just title graduate program, your CV, and areas of interest. The way we work is you tell us the areas of interest that you would like to work in. So for example, if you tell us I would like to work in risk and compliance, we go to the management, to the unit head of risk and compliance. We'll inform them or ask them if they have any vacancies to take on students. And if yes, we'll set up a meeting, quite informal, between the unit management, HR, and the student, with the intention to define if there is a good fit or not, basically, within the organization. So if there is a good fit within the organization, then we make our offer, basically. And the students can join the organization. At the moment, we don't offer the graduate program just for summer, but this is our intention for next summer. So for summer 2022, we might also have the opportunity to offer this graduate program just for summer. We are in discussions at the moment with the HR management, with the intention to start from next year offering summer work just for graduate program for university students. So that is about regarding our graduate program. Now, with regards to areas, and also with regards to your majors, because it makes a difference on the majors that you will be taking on. So I think the most the majors that are mostly relevant to banking is definitely banking and finance, accounts, and economics. I think those are the three main areas. Insurance, yes, if you're looking more at operational risk, because insurance falls under the remit of operational risk within our bank. So when we're talking about insurance, we're not talking about selling insurance products, because we do not sell insurance products. The only thing we sell is life insurance, but we don't sell car insurance or whatever. We have a partnership with Middle Sea. Actually, it's called Middle Sea Life, and it's in partner between BOV and Middle Sea, and we offer life insurance products. Now, in that area, it's very limited, because we only have a very small department, and predominantly what they do is they liaise with Middle Sea, because they do all the back office work. Our job is to sell through our branches, through our channels, but other than that, they just act as a liaison with Middle Sea, basically, and that is their job. So it's very limited. But if you take insurance from a business perspective, from an operational side, then there is an area, it's an area of interest, because we have operational risk, and part of their duties include also insuring the bank. So they insure us as employees, they insure our premises, and they insure a number of other areas. And there are a number of conditions. It's not straightforward. So, for example, just to give you an example, when it comes to insurance, so the bank has an insurance policy for our employees. Now, one of the conditions that the insurance company gives, which is not a local company, it's a foreign company, it's a big organization, and they set a number of conditions. One of the conditions is that each and every employee has to take 2 weeks of vacation leave straight. Now, this is a requirement which is done from an operational risk perspective. Because if there is something which is not, the employee is doing something which is he or she is not supposed to do, during those 2 weeks, they would break that habit, that chain, and it would reflect in our reporting tools, and it would be flagged. So the insurance company, which insures the bank, requests that every employee needs to stay 2 weeks away from the office without any access to bank IT systems. So you're going to stay at home 2 weeks and access the systems just the same. You need to be offline basically for 2 weeks. So that is from the insurance sector. So I believe that an operational risk, yes, but operational risk is just part of risk management. It's very important, it's key. And it's not just in financial services, operational risk. Operational risk is mostly mandatory in a good number of companies. I would say that all the big companies, they have someone who's responsible for operational risk. Now, other than that, you have banking and finance that is given, and there are a number of areas. I will explain the areas in a few minutes' time, the way we're structured, so it gives you an idea where it fits. Marketing, I'm afraid, it is one of the areas which normally we don't, is the least area which we need people in. Marketing. Marketing is a very specific area, and very often who works in marketing is very marketable. Excuse the play of words, comes from experience primarily rather than from the academic side. So those employees who are pretty much on the desire list of companies, usually they have a lot of experience. From our end, we do have a marketing department, and we are beefing it up as well. Incidentally, last week, if I'm not mistaken, we actually issued a number of vacancies, but from the marketing side, it's more on data analytics. So someone who is very strong in maths and statistics and is interested in marketing, that could be a niche area to invest in. We've seen actually in this area, we've seen a couple of ex-university students who studies or have a degree in engineering, and they do well in this area, statistics and analysis, and because they have a very good background on maths and statistics, and they're doing pretty well. For example, recently we employed someone from the manufacturing industry. She was an engineer. She wanted a career change. We gave her that opportunity, and she's doing very, very well within the specific area of analysis and the extraction of data and things like that. And we're very happy with her as well. So in that case, management is very similar to marketing, although management is how shall I put it? It is something that, yes, you need to learn, but you learn mostly when you experience management. So even from my personal experience, it is something that you learn by making mistakes. So I remember my first year of management, I did quite a good number of mistakes, which I did, luckily I didn't repeat. And that is where you learn in management. So doing majoring in management and then expecting to join the organization in a management position, I would say that is very unlikely. But people join within a management, and the difference is that if you have a degree, you'll get there much faster in an organization, but to start without any work experience and to start in a management position, that is very risky for the organization and also for the student, for the ex-student, without any knowledge, without any experience. So we highly recommend that someone who just went out from university builds up that knowledge, is mentored, is coached, and then eventually takes on a management position. We do have a number of ex-university students who are managers nowadays, but it is a process. But like I said, the difference is that if for someone who's joining from MCAS, to mention another institute, it would take them 10 to 15 years to reach a management level. For someone who's at university, and obviously you need to prove yourself as well. So just having a degree is not enough. But if you prove yourself as well, it could take up to 5 years, 6 years, something like that. But if I had to major in something, I would prefer more of a technical subject than something which is management. Management is something that you can do maybe as a master's. If you're doing a master's in business administration, there is a lot of management going on. And that is something that you normally do after work hours, like I did. So you're building your knowledge, your experience, and at the same time you're studying management. That is fine. But I would leave management to a master's level rather than to a degree level, because the degree will give you the solid foundation of a technical knowledge. Just to give you some background about my knowledge, I have a degree in IT, which I did with the University of Greenwich. So that gave me a very good technical knowledge. But then I did a master's in business administration, which then it opened up from just having a technical knowledge to also having a business knowledge. In fact, that is why I'm working in HR nowadays. But the technical knowledge that I gained in IT, I'm still using till today. So whenever there is an HR IT project, I'm normally the first person to be nominated for the project. And very often I end up leading this project. Why? Because I have a very good knowledge. It's not just a degree, because I also spent 11 years working within the IT department of the bank while I was doing the degree. Because I did the degree on a part-time basis. So that gave me the knowledge. So, and I remember when I did the degree and then I was interested to do the master's, I had two options: either do a master's in business administration or else do a master in either information systems or an MSc in computing. And I remember one of the lecturers at university gave me this advice that I would rather open up the opportunities by having a business with a technical, so I would have a technical degree and a business master's rather than keep specializing in a particular area. But obviously this is up to you then to decide. In accounts, definitely yes. I would say it's a big yes. With a finance department, I will explain the area and it's split up. Economics as well. Public policy, I wouldn't be so sure about. I mean, it's very generic in my opinion. I think the other areas, the other majors are stronger than public policy. Now, going back to the structure. Now, the good thing about BOV, as I mentioned, we have 2,000 employees, and there's a lot of specialization going on. So if I had to take, for example, finance, within finance, there are quite a number of areas. In fact, there are 8 areas. We employ over 100 employees there, just in finance. And in finance, you don't just do the financial accounts. That is only a small subset. So yes, we have a team who are responsible for our financial accounts, basically. And they do the management accounts. So at the moment, they're very, very busy because one of our obligations is to do the midterm accounts. So by the end of July, most probably we'll be issuing our financial position for the first 6 months of the year. And then at the end of the year, they start all over again, and there's a whole process, which very often is done in collaboration with our audit partners, basically, which are appointed. But apart from that, there are quite a number of areas. So for example, there is supervisory reporting. It's a specific area which they liaise directly with the regulator, so with the MFSA, with the local central bank, with the ECB, and with the joint steering team, which is a combination of members, is a team of members from ECB, Central Bank of Malta, and MFSA, and the bank, and they liaise directly and issue reports according to that area. There's also a tax area, which currently is being built. We had a subset, a subunit within another unit on tax, but now we have a fully fledged unit, and in the coming weeks actually will be issuing a number of vacancies in that area. There's a treasury, capital funding, and these are all different areas. So these are all different units: strategy, economics, and research. That is just within the finance area. In risk and compliance, obviously we have a good number of areas. There's risk coordination, financial risk management, credit risk, operational risk, supervisory affairs, credit underwriting, debt management, legal, and ESG risk management. There's also compliance, which is a different area. So they fall under different chief officers, data protection, monitoring and reporting, anti-financial crime and anti-money laundering, advisory and regulatory, and oversight. Those are the support functions. Obviously, then there are a number of other areas. There is wealth management. So if you're interested in investments, stocks and shares and bonds and all that stuff, we have a number of other areas like BOV asset management, fund services, investment strategy and research. They do a lot of research there. In fact, at the moment, there is a university student working with us in that area. And also then obviously there are a number of areas like technology. There again, a number of areas, and also the business, the core banking. So you have the retail network, the business banking, the corporate center. They cater for the funding of big projects in Malta. Then we also have the business centers. They cater for SMEs, but that is the business function as well. But just to go back to risk and compliance and finance, just in that area, we employ between 200 to 250 employees just in that area. Okay, and we're on the lookout for more talent. Okay, so joining the bank now with the graduate program, it would give you an opportunity to start building your career, have a look at what you're studying looks in a business context, and then eventually decide whether this is up for you or not, basically, because sometimes there might be a discrepancy between what you're studying and what you are, what the real life, what in real life it looks like, basically. I think I just have gone a little bit overboard when it comes to time, but it was worth explaining in detail. Someone posted in the chat, I'm happy to take any questions, but someone posted in the chat regarding the graduate program, where can we find a link to apply? All you need, just send an email to either vacancies@bov.com or resourcing@bov.com. You can also send it to recruitment@bov.com, or else if you wish, you can also send it directly to me. It's noel.debono@bov.com. Just include your CV, an updated CV, that's very important, and the areas of interest. And I'll get in touch back with you, and obviously we'll discuss further. Okay, thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, even if you want to send an email with any questions you might have. Don't worry, I'll be happy to answer.
If anyone has any questions which they think of later on, they can even message us and we'll forward them and we'll get back to you.
Perfect.
Very big thank you for your presentation. We obviously gained a bit more knowledge because I personally didn't know of the internship which you offer, so it's good to know.
Yes, it's been only a couple of years since we launched it, we tried to build a momentum, but unfortunately due to COVID we were unable to go to Freshers Week and to other initiatives that normally would happen around that university. So we took that approach, basically, but yes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, nice weekend.
Thanks, bye, same to you. We can now move on to Atlas, I think. Hello.
Sorry, I was mute as always. Without fail. Hi. Yes. So, if I understood correctly, our role in this meeting is to try and convince you to choose insurance as one of your subjects. Just to give you a bit of background about myself, my name is Margarita Kakia. I'm the HR business partner at Atlas, and I focus mostly on talent and also staff engagement. So I've been working at Atlas for many years now, more than I'd like to admit in this meeting. I started working there right after I graduated. And like many others, I ended up in insurance by chance. I joined Atlas because I wasn't sure what I wanted to specialize in psychology. And I thought I'm going to have a break and I'm going to work and then I'll decide later. And I joined claims and I really fell in love with the job. And I spent, I think, about 8 years doing that. And then I think I was ready to specialize, and I continued my studies in organizational psychology, and I moved internally. I moved to the HR department, and I've been there for quite some time. So insurance is not sort of the subject people think about first, you know, it's not the top of mind subject when thinking about the financial services industry. We know that it's okay, we're not going to be offended, but I think there are a lot of misconceptions. First and foremost, I think people do not realize how fast-paced, how much it grows, the insurance industry, and how involved it is in the economy. I mean, when you really stop to think about it, people can take loans, businesses can operate because there are insurers behind them who are willing to take on that risk. When we talk about economic growth, that is very much related to how much the industry grows. And it's very tied to what is going on in society. When new things arise, the insurance industry is often one of the first to have to react. I'll give you a few examples. For example, cybersecurity. Thinking about cybersecurity insurance recently in the last few years, this has become a very serious issue. And companies start looking to insure themselves against any cyber attacks. And that is a new product, that was a new product for the local market, and the insurance industry needs to react to that demand and supply a product. So product development happens quite frequently, really the need changes frequently, and you have to react in a timely way. If I can just share my screen, I'll just throw.
I think you should be able to share your screen.
Let me try. I just prepared a couple of. Let me do that. Can you see my?
Right. Yes, we can see.
Yeah. I just prepared a couple of slides, nothing major, just to give you an overview of the different departments within an insurance company. So, and at Atlas, at least, we have what we call our operations, which are our core functions, and then we have also our support departments. So within our core functions, you would find sort of the roles that are more closely associated with what the insurance topic at university would cover. And here we would have underwriting, which, if anyone is unaware, it is the process of deciding whether you want to take on a risk and whether you want to impose any exclusions on that policy. Enough deciding, for example, that you do not want to insure enough a particular business, or if you do, you insure it but excluding damages for such and such. That is underwriting. Then we have sales, and then we have claims. Within each faction of these operations, there is always obviously the customer care underlying all that. I have my colleagues with me, Tiziana, who you can see, and Lara, who will be explaining to you a bit more in detail. But we also have the support department. So insurance is regulated by the MFSA. There is a lot of compliance regulations that we must adhere to. From that aspect, we're very similar to banks. So we have compliance department, we have the internal audit, we have risk management, the legal. We also have marketing departments, obviously. And it always really helps us if when we recruit in marketing, that person has an understanding of insurance, because the product needs to be marketed in a certain way. So that's really beneficial. And also beneficial to us is the combination of accounts and insurance, because insurance accounts are a little bit different. And so having those two subjects together are very, one, rare, but two, very desirable to any insurance company. We also obviously have people working in customer experience. At Atlas, our #1 objective is to be #1 in customer care. So things related to customer experiences are very important to us. And we emphasize a lot on customer care in our training. we offer an internship program. I'll give you a brief overview of that, and Tiziana and Lara will explain to you what sort of experiences you would get if you join an internship program at Atlas, and sort of what to expect if you eventually have a career in the insurance business. So the internship program is open to anyone who is studying insurance, so from year 2 onwards. It is very, very focused on practical experience. We offer flexible schedules and with not only time flexibility, but also you'll be able to start and stop during exams so that you don't feel like it's conflicting sort of with your studies. So we're very flexible on that. We offer rotation in different departments so that you can be exposed to different aspects of insurance. And we have a very strong coaching mentality at Atlas, and we also would be giving you quarterly feedback sessions. At Atlas, if you join as an intern, you are 100% like an employee. So all the employees have their performance check-ins quarterly, where they are given feedback and growth objectives, and so would you. So this is really good, really beneficial, because it helps you identify your strengths and identify your growth areas. That's really it for me for now. I'll let Tiziana and Lara tell you more. Obviously, if anyone has any questions, I'll be following.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you. I'm currently reading for a master's in insurance and risk management at university as well. Prior to that, I also did the Bachelor of Commerce, and I had chosen banking and finance and insurance as my majors. So I understand what you're going through at the moment. And I also understand that choosing your majors is not an easy decision, and it can be quite challenging. In my opinion, the insurance industry is very dynamic, and as Margarita mentioned, there are a lot of opportunities where you can grow, and I feel like it will always remain a very competitive industry. With regards to the subject of insurance, at university you learn about various products that are sold, the processes that need to be carried out to price these products, and also about the regulatory requirements of the industry. With regards to my internship, I joined Atlas at the end of my second year. And from my experience, I can say that it helped me understand better how what I have studied is applied at the workplace, because obviously, you know, what you study, the theory of the subject sometimes varies to when it's actually applied in practice. So I think it's very important that you get exposure, and you can only get that through work. And apart from that, you do not just learn about insurance as a subject, but you also it also helps you to gain skills that can only be achieved through work experience. So, for example, dealing with different clients, the concept of working in a team, managing your time, because some days are busier than others, so you kind of have to prioritize, and you learn that through work as well. And most importantly, communication, not just with clients, but also with your colleagues. So all of this together, you kind of start gaining more confidence, both with your interpersonal skills as well as your career of the future. As Margarita mentioned as well, the internship that is offered at Atlas provides you with hands-on experience. You are treated as one that, you know, that works in the same department. So not just because you are a student, you are given kind of the work of the back office work, but you're actually exposed to the processes of the company. And also training is continuously provided. So both on the products being sold and maybe changes that are being done to product, as well as the internal processes of the company. When I had joined Atlas, I had started in the personal lines department, where basically the products that are sold are mainly focused for the individuals, so such as motor insurance, home insurance, boat, travel. And apart from selling these products, training was also given on how to handle claims and how claims are processed, which is also it's very different to the sales, but it's equally as interesting. And then recently I moved to the commercial lines department last March, which is very different in nature than the personal lines department. The policies are more tailor-made because they kind of see what the business needs. And thanks to those quarterly assessments that were mentioned, I had discussed that I would like to kind of expose myself to a different department, and Atlas were very nice enough for them to actually kind of actually put me in the commercial lines department. So overall, my experience is a very positive one. I not just when dealing with work, but I also made a lot of friends from work. So I would really suggest that in line with your studies, you kind of expose yourself with what you are studying, because it will help you to understand better if this is for you, if this is not for you, and you kind of learn how where you want your career to go. I think that is all from my end. Obviously, if you have any questions with regards to the course or with regards to the internship, you can message me on here or on Facebook, and I will be very willing to help. I obviously wish you luck with your studies and with choosing your majors. I think that is all, to be honest. So thank you.
Lara? Lara seems to have frozen.
I don't think her connection is very stable.
Hi.
Lara, maybe if you can switch off the video, maybe it will help.
Uh-huh.
We only have a few minutes left in our slot anyway, so. Prova tkellem, Lar. Seems to be a problem.
It's fine, it happens to everyone.
I don't know whether there were any questions in.
I have. If anyone has any questions? No, Lara, we're not really hearing you. As I was saying, if anyone has any questions, feel free to either message them or feel free to speak up, or you can even message us later on and we will forward the questions.
Yes, or just an FYI, if you would like more information about the internship, our email address is recruitment@atlas.com.mt. But you can also send in any questions you may have about the internship, about the insurance industry in general, and we will get back to you. It's really not a problem. Take advantage and use all the resources and help that you can get.
I think Lara,
and our time is up.
I think she's joining the call again. I don't know if she wishes to take the opportunity, but I don't know if her connection is okay now.
Hello, I'm so sorry.
All right, seems to be fine now.
I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay, don't worry.
So, I'm having internet problems. I'm so sorry. So,
It seems up
I
again.
will choice. So
I think she's cutting again. I think she will be out of the call.
hello.
I don't know if any of you wish to take over instead of her position. I don't know.
Really and truly, Lara was just going to give her side, her experience as an intern like Tiziana. So I
Are
don't know
you
whether
hearing me?
there was anything specific that she would have liked to say.
I think she cut from the call again.
I think our time is up, no?
I think so, to be honest, but I mean, would have been willing to hear hers, no problem. Just I think she's out of the call. So I don't know if you'd like to tell hers and that that we can move on to the next company.
Because I will let her know, that's not a problem.
Yes, I was just messaging her. I'm very
All
sorry.
right.
We would have liked to give you another experience, but these things happen. Again, our doors are always open. We're very happy to share information, knowledge, questions that you may have. So, minkom jonqos kif jgħid il-Malti?
Yes, and if anyone thinks of any questions later on, as I said, you can message us or them directly through the email. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For sharing your experiences. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So we can now move on to the last company, which is PwC. I think that
Hi.
Vicky, yes, hello.
Can you see and hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh, why isn't this working? It's okay. I'm doing the intro, then I'll exit and join the call again. So hi everybody. My name is Vicky, and I form part of the HR team at PwC. We have quite a few speakers in this call today, coming from various different experiences as well as educational backgrounds. I would love to introduce our first speaker, which is Julian. Hey, Ju.
Hi Vic, thanks. Hi guys. So I'm Julian, I'm part of the banking advisory or banking consulting team at PwC. To start off, the first thing I'd say is that in my case, at least, I had no idea what I was going to pick. So I think it's really normal if that's your situation. I started off with accounting. I really wanted to be an accountant, and I said, okay, my first pick was definitely accounts. Then I just had a short experience in summer in accounting, and I realized it wasn't for me. I moved on to economics, and I was really keen on that. So I decided to take economics as like my first major, so to speak. And I said, okay, I need to take the second one, maybe banking and finance. And then by the end of BCom, it was all the other way around, and I was really keen on banking and finance, and economics was secondary. So BCom is 3 years, even 4 if you do honors, or 5 if you do a master's in accounts. It's a long way, so along the line you might realize you like something else, which is completely fine. Something worth considering is pairing your options well. There's this conception of taking a hard major and an easy one to kind of compensate. I would advise against that if it's possible. At the end of the course, you'd really thank yourself that you chose something that's relevant. For example, if you are interested in choosing banking and finance, I'd recommend economics or even accounting if you have the option, if you do it at A level. If you haven't considered banking and finance at all yet, or if you are really interested but you're not sure, I'd really recommend doing some research into the study units on the university website. Just see what they're about, see if they meet your expectations about banking at university. Maybe speak to any friends you have in second year who actually done the course. I mean, you can speak to us as well and to me after the call, but if there's anyone you're more comfortable with, just speak with them and see what it's about. The experience you'd get from banking is really wide-ranging. Obviously, it's banking and finance as well, so it covers a really wide variety of topics like risk management. In banking, you get all the different sides of a bank, what's about, even compliance, aspects of corporate finance, even investments and wealth management, portfolio management. So it's still really open for you if you take banking and finance, and there's a lot of routes you can pursue. After my honors year, which I did in banking and finance, I joined PwC, had really a lot of support when I started, hit the ground running with Excel, with public speaking, research. So there are a lot of skills which help you grow, even if you're not going to remain in the same role, that you can take with you. In banking consulting at PwC, we do quite a wide variety of engagements or projects, if you like, mainly to do with capital and liquidity in banks. We also do engagements with payment companies, kind of like Revolut, maybe targeted to different customers or clients. We also do a lot of research into guidance and rules to see how we're going to use that to clients' advantage. Something else which is interesting is out of the projects we do are both quantitative and qualitative. So if you feel like you're more advantaged in one side than the other, or you want to grow in either the quantitative side or the qualitative side, there's both for you. So you can grow in both, really and truly. One good thing about banking consulting is that you get a really wide view of all the different banks in Malta. So the alternative after BCom, of course, would be working in a bank. In banking consulting, you can get exposure with local clients, international, trade finance. So there's a lot of different aspects, which I also got help from my course. So once I started, there were a lot of aspects which kind of bridged that gap for me. So I found it very helpful. That's it from me, guys. Elaine's going to speak to you about some of the other options you have for your majors now.
Thanks, Joe. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Elaine, and I'm a BCom Honors in Management graduate. I was majoring during second and third year in accounts and management. And then during my third year, I had decided to continue and pursue my studies in management. As soon as I graduated, I applied with PwC. And I have now spent 4.5 years in the corporate accounting and administration services within the firm. In short, we call it CAS because that's quite long to remember and to say. CAS is part of the tax and legal service line function of the firm, and I feel like with my majors, which are accounts and management, I helped build a really good foundation for my professional career in the department. As the name implies of my department, we offer accounting services and also administration services. And administration is a bit misleading as a word to describe the types of services we offer, because we literally offer anything to the client that is not non-accounting. So besides accounting, administration services include, for example, incorporation of companies, liquidations, and redomiciliations in and out of Malta, setting up a bank account. The list really goes on, because I feel like the department I work with is giving me a lot of exposure to different industries. We work with different lines of service as well within the firm, so I feel like I get a lot of exposure. the majors that I chose, I feel like they really complement each other. In fact, Julian touched upon, you know, making the right decision and not just choosing one.
Hi, let's just give her a second. I think we lost connection.
She's still in the call. I don't know if she.
Just all right, let me tell you, let's move to the next speaker, Sakem Elaine recovers. Daniela, I'm going to leave it in your good hands.
Hi, Vicky. Hi, all. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Sorry for joining a bit late, but I think I just made it on time. So basically, I understand that you're sort of university students, first year, so still deliberating a little bit which subjects to choose. So I'm here to just explain a little bit about my background. So from my end, I was also a university student. I had accounts and economics, and I majored in accountancy. That being said, sort of I was quite keen on the economic side, and basically even in terms of, so sorry for maybe not explaining my background. So basically I'm a manager in the consulting space and in advisory. Basically the type of work that we do is very much related to the economic side, funding, feasibility studies and whatnot. So with my interest in economics, basically I was more keen to join the advisory space, and basically I use more of my economics than my accounts nowadays. When I joined, obviously this was about 8 years ago, so things have changed a little over time. Now we're also recruiting people from different departments, because before it was more of an accountancy kind of requirement that was even for advisory at the time. Nowadays, we understand that there is a broad range of skills that are needed. So we're also recruiting people with an economics background, with a banking and finance background. So these are all areas which lend themselves well to the advisory work that we do. So basically, maybe just to explain a little bit more about what we do from our end. We concentrate more on the public sector side. Okay, so we deal a lot with different ministries, and we assist different local entities with various types of studies. One study which comes to mind, which I'll mention a couple, because obviously being in the public domain, one might recall sort of certain projects. So we were involved in the Cittadella restoration feasibility study, where it came to assisting Ministry for Gozo with an EU-funded application. So assisting in that respect. We were also assisting Ministry for the Environment with coming up with a strategic plan for the launch of electric vehicles rollout in Malta. So, helping them come up with the cutoff date for ICE vehicles and that kind of thing. That's just giving a bit of a flavor, because in advisory we do a little bit of everything, and we do a number of special study assignments. We also work quite closely with a number of European institutions. We're currently working with the European Investment Bank as well on the energy efficiency and renewable energy financial instrument, which you might start seeing billboards on, because this is applicable to both households as well as enterprises. So that is in a nutshell a bit of a background. Vicky, I don't know if I've addressed everything, or if
Yes. You passed the test, Dan.
Sorry, I
You passed the test.
Okay, so if you've got
Thank
any
you.
questions, I'll take them at the end, right?
We'll take them at the end. Thank you, Daniela. Elaine, would you like to finish because your internet decided to die on you?
It wasn't even an internet issue. I don't know what happened, but I spent like 30 seconds talking by myself.
But we can hear you very well now.
Tayyip, okay. As I was saying, pairing of majors. So I feel like accounts and management were a really good pairing. And I remember I was more inclined to choose accounts initially, but after talking to my friend's sister, I had decided to go with management. So I highly suggest and recommend that you speak to as many people who have went through what you are going through right now, because their experience might change your mind or might, give you a different perspective on what you want as a career. So I highly recommend that you speak to as many people as you feel the need to, because one major might not be what you were thinking of basing your career on, but speaking to someone in that industry or in that sector might completely change your mind. Obviously, if you have any questions towards me, feel free to ask them, feel free to reach out. And that's it from my end. So I was towards the end, I think, of my my discussion.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elaine. And we have Nick coming up next.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi everyone. So my name is Nicole. I've been with PwC for 2 years. I was in the same shoes as you a few years ago. My majors were accountancy and insurance. At the time when I chose insurance, it was very, very new. And that actually, the major actually picked up, I think from a few years after. First of all, I think for accounting, it opens a lot of doors for you. So you can either work with audit like I do. In the case of PwC, you can work in CAS, where we do accounting services, advisory. We also have a technical team who specializes in accounting standards. And obviously outside there's working with companies as a CFO, as a financial director. So not audit, accountancy opens a lot of doors for you. I had chosen insurance because it was super interesting. I think if you speak to even other people who are older than you, they'll tell you that it was a really, really interesting and really fun as well, because you get to learn new stuff in each module. And having accounts and insurance together, from my experience, actually helped me, because at PwC, I audit insurance companies, so I specialize in auditing insurance companies. As well as that, it also helped me for my dissertation, because I ended up doing an accountancy master's, but focusing on insurance. And like Julian had mentioned, the choices are based on you, so on your personality, on what you want to continue, and it's not a matter of choosing two hard majors or one hard one easy major. If you want to choose two extreme ones, just go for it. It all comes from you at the end of the day.
Perfect, thank you. And Gab, last but not least.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I'm a manager in audit that works specifically on gaming clients. So I think being at PwC really gives you sort of a holistic approach in gaming. So as opposed to working in the industry, doing the audit is actually, I find it obviously more interesting, and I'll explain a bit why. So as PwC, we audit the largest gaming clients. So obviously we get to meet a lot of different clients, and all of the clients sort of give you a different feel, and they would target sort of different markets, different products. So obviously being a manager at PwC, and I've been at PwC for 9 years, I have seen a lot of gaming clients. So I work specifically, as in 12 months a year. So I am fully on gaming. You get to learn a lot of things because there's also the IT side. So we involve heavily our IT team, and you start learning also on the IT, obviously without having any IT background. There's also the legal environment, the regulatory environment, so where there are licenses. So you start obviously getting knowledge on the various jurisdictions that you can operate gaming. Obviously it's interesting because you're not doing just one area. So you're doing basically every single area, and as you grow at PwC, you start with sort of the less risky areas, and then you get to the main risky areas, which obviously makes it very interesting. I recommend such an experience because obviously it's if you're obviously interested in gaming, it gives you a very good exposure, especially being at PwC, which audits most of them. So I think that's mainly it. I'm not sure if there are any questions or anything, Vic.
I actually want to take us say a few words myself. My apologies for not having my camera on. I don't know what's going on. First of all, I want to thank the speakers for that. Just to close off before we go into questions. I mean, PwC, we're a Big Four firm, but being the #1 financial service provider in Malta comes with several benefits, such as opportunities to network with some of the largest clients on the island, how Gabby is saying, the biggest gaming clients who work with them all. The fact that you can opportunities to go work abroad, network with different territories. It all comes hand in hand with being exposed to an amazing career, and this is what we build at PwC. We build careers. We understand that this is a bit of an overwhelming process, choosing your majors, trying to understand what you want to do, and this is why we offer programs to students coming from the various different areas. I know that PwC is known that we do have a lot of accounting opportunities, which is very true, we do. But we also have opportunities for those who, maybe want to focus on management or public policy or banking and finance or economics, insurance, and the list goes on and on. So I do highly suggest that if you're interested to reach out to us. Our summers are filled with different activities, be it training, be it, we do CSR work together. We have our entrepreneurship program, while always offering work experience. Now, to help you with these decisions, career changing decisions, like, okay, do I want to be an accountant? Do I want to be an economist? etc. We'll give you the opportunity to actually rotate within different departments and different teams within the firm. So we're not going to come and tell you, listen, Elaine, what do you want to be? What do you want to become when you grow up? No, we're going to say, listen, let's take it step by step. Let's see what opportunities are of interest to you and give you a chance to get a taste of them and get your hands dirty. Because as you guys know very well, theory and practice are two very different things. I want to end this on a short video. Fingers crossed we don't have any more technical difficulties. Let me know if you can see my screen.
We can see.
Okay, so I suppose I'm not sharing my screen anymore. So I don't usually use Zoom. I'm not usually this bad though. So my apologies. So again, this is a little bit of a small taste about what PwC is about. I do highly recommend, for you to reach out to us if you have any questions, if you want to have a chat with us, if you want to speak about what majors you're considering. We're very, very happy to set up that call. And even if you're looking into, summer experiences, you're looking for internship opportunities, feel free to share your details. I've added a quick registration sheet. It should only take you a few seconds. Now to close off, does anyone have any questions? We have our specialists on the call, so feel free to get as technical as you want.
If anyone thinks of any questions later on, they can even message us and we'll forward the questions.
Yes, and if you want, I can pop in my email address. Obviously I'll pass them on accordingly, or you can reach out to ASCS and they'll help you with that. Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much for attending. You were also a pleasure to have. So thank you. And thank you everyone for attending. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.